Hey guys, and welcome back to our, what did you call it?
Disney Top 5.
Disney Top 5 series. That's it. I have a memory like a goldfish.
What?
I forgot. All right. So we hope that you've been enjoying these series. If you've
We
missed,
have really been enjoying making them.
it's been a lot of fun to think through our favorite Disney stuff and, you know, rank them just as far as what our favorites are.
And it's been fun to see what your favorites are, and I don't know if you've enjoyed seeing what my favorites are.
Nah. And hopefully you get to know a little bit more about us, which is, you know, I don't know if you want that, but you got
if you
it.
do, tune in every Wednesday.
So this is an exciting one, I think.
Yeah.
I would think so anyway.
This was the list I had the hardest time putting together because there were so many options.
Yeah, it was harder to cut things here.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I'm Stuart.
And I'm Joelle.
And this is 2Max Tribe. We thank you so much for tuning in and watching our videos. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and show up. And show up every week.
We need that too.
And make sure that you check out our social media, which will show up at the bottom of the screen there. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and check out our website, which Joelle hasn't updated in.
You know, my coworker has been sick the past couple of weeks.
True.
And
Yeah.
normally I work on the website on Thursday mornings because that's one of my days off. And I've been working. So
I forgot.
we'll get back to it
We'll excuse her this time.
hopefully this week.
Yeah, so Disney rides. Now we are limiting this to Disney World because it's the only one we've been to.
Yeah, I went to Disneyland as a kid, like when I was 12 or 13. But to be honest, I have little to no memory of the rides we rode.
And we know they've added quite a few things in 20 years.
Yeah, oh my gosh, don't say that 20 years ago.
So if you didn't get a chance, make sure you check out the other videos. We'll link those below so you can check those out.
Yeah, they were really fun.
And yeah, let's jump right
in.
Words. Let's jump right into these lists. And since I went first,
Did you have coffee this morning?
Yes.
Oh, then I don't know what's
Apparently
going on.
not enough. So I started first in the last video, which was Disney soundtracks. So we're gonna let Joelle start first for Disney rides.
All right. I had a lot of options for my top 5, and I had to decide whether it was going to be my top 5, like my personal favorite, just like the rides I know that I can ride over and over again and I love and we have to ride every time, or if it was going to be like the best rides in the parks. And I decided to go with my favorite, not like the ones that are the coolest or the most unique or like the most technological. So the ones that I like to ride and have ridden like every time we've gone is what I chose to do. Okay, so my number 5, I guess I haven't ridden this one every time, but it was amazing, is Flight of Passage.
Okay.
It is not my favorite ride, which is why it's at number 5.
Obviously.
Right. But I love the feeling of flying. It's really, really cool. The smells. I love any ride that has smells. That's pretty much like, if it involves like all your senses, those are my favorite. So I love that it has the smells, and I love that, you know, when you go by the water, you feel the water on your face, and it's just amazing, amazing, amazing. So
it's not really good. It's amazing.
So that's my number 5. The downside is that it's a long line.
Yeah, it usually is a fairly long line.
Yeah.
And just speaking from a bigger guy perspective, it can be a bit uncomfortable. They do have the thing out front that you can sit in
and check it out. Yeah.
I don't know if they still have that with COVID and all that stuff, but
I bet they do.
That lets you know if you're going to fit in it.
Yeah, that's true. It is a weird seat
Yeah.
and kind of weird harness or
Right. So
way they lock you in.
Yeah. Okay. But I understand why it's on your top 5. Absolutely. All right. My number 5, and I tried to wrestle with how I wanted to approach this as well. And I think I have kind of a mixture as far as just favorite rides and stuff that is just really neat experiences. And for me, when it comes to rides, it really is all about the experience.
I think you also like rides with a story.
Yeah, I do like rides that have a story as well. All right, so number 5 for me was actually Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Oh, wow, I don't even know if I have that in
We rode this on our last trip to Disney, and it was a neat ride. Like
We'll link the video down below so you guys can check it out.
the trackless ride system and just the story that's in it is kind of neat. I don't like the animation style, but the ride itself is really neat, innovative, and
yeah, it is.
It's a fun ride. Not very long, like 5 minutes,
Maybe.
a little less than 5 minutes. But it was a neat experience and one that I would definitely be willing to try again the next time we travel down there.
Yeah, that one also has a bit of a long line, but we did it the first thing in the morning, and I would highly suggest you do it that way.
Yeah. Or we've heard that the later in the day you get, the less the line is.
But there's also the chance that it'll break down, so.
Well, yeah, that's every Disney ride. Don't plan on getting on anything. Like, Flight of Passage is another one that goes down, and Rise of the Resistance goes down quite a bit. But yeah, number 5 for me is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I just think they did a great job with that ride. So, yeah, that's my number 5.
Okay, my number 4. This is going to be controversial.
Uh-oh.
Journey into Imagination with Figment.
Oh.
That's a ride that we ride every time we go. Since the first time when we first rode it, we're like, oh, that's so cute. We were never there for the first version of it.
Which we've heard everyone likes that one more than
but we don't have any experience with that. And it's like the song, Imagination. Like you just get stuck in your head. And Figment is one of our favorite characters. We love his involvement in the different festivals. We think that's a lot of fun. And so, and once again, smells are in this ride. A smell. And so it's
One day we won't get skunk.
So it's just a lot of fun. Catchy song, a nice ride, never a long line.
Good character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's a good number.
Number 4. Okay.
For me, my number 4, and not that it's really that frightening or anything, but I'm not a roller coaster person, but this ride I really did enjoy. You probably thought I was going somewhere else with that, didn't you?
Well, no, now that you said roller coaster person, I think I know which ride.
My number 4 was Slinky Dog Dash. We rode that for the first time when we went in January, I think, and it was just a fun ride. Like, I don't know what else to really say about it. The theming is really neat.
Yeah, the theming is fun.
The ride itself is a lot of fun.
Even the line is fun to walk through.
Right.
Because it's like you're tiny and you have all these board game and toy pieces around you. That's fun. Yeah,
so that ended up being my number 4 for the sake that it's just a really neat idea, a really neat design, theming, all that stuff, and just fun to ride. Yeah. And it is, in my opinion, like it's a good family coaster.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have massive drops or anything like that. The kids, I wouldn't think, would get too terrified by. No. But yeah, it's just a fun ride. So for me, number 4,
yep, that
Slinky
one is
Dog
fun.
Dash.
Okay, my number 3. This is probably Stuart's number 1. Haunted Mansion. Oh. Sorry.
I was going to say the teacups.
You've never ridden the teacups. And you would totally throw up on the teacups.
No, I would not.
If we spun?
No.
I bet he would.
Maybe.
But my number 3 is Haunted Mansion. It's a fun ride. When the stretching room was active, that was a lot of fun to like put you in the mood for like the Haunted Mansion.
Which, side note, we now realize why that room is there.
To get your eyes adjusted. To get your eyes
adjusted to the dark. Because when we went with COVID and you don't have that,
the first time we rode it,
you see nothing through the ride.
The first time we rode it, we got on like that.
Yeah.
Like we literally didn't stop moving from when we entered the building from the outside to getting on the ride, and our eyes had not adjusted from the sunlight to the dark, and we like couldn't see anything the whole ride. Yeah, but you know the little tricks that they do is fun. I love when you get to the graveyard and there's just all kinds of like little funny bits that you can catch, and you see new things every time you ride just because there's so much to see. I love the backstory with the woman who kills off her husbands and gets richer and richer every time she kills a husband. I think that's
Joelle and her true murder stuff.
I think that's a lot of fun. And you know, it's just a lot of fun, and it's classic, original day, like opening day attraction.
Right. Yeah. Yep, that is a good ride. All right. So what are we on? Number 3.
Yep.
Oh, my number 3 ride is Haunted Mansion.
I thought it was your number 1.
Yeah, no,
This is like your must-do every time.
It is my must-do ride at the Disney parks, but it's not like the most enjoyable ride for me.
Oh, okay.
As I said, I really love the ride. I think, once again, theming is really neat. The queue is really neat when you're walking through and you're seeing the tombstones and you're seeing
and the eyes that follow you.
Yeah, so all of that stuff is really neat. The ride itself, as Joel said, the stretching room. I remember when I was, years and years ago, when my family went down there, I was terrified of this ride. And I just remember, like, keeping my eyes closed the whole time.
It's like when we were standing in line one time to go in there were some girls in front of us that were like maybe 12-ish. And she's like, I'm so scared. Is this going to be scary? And we're like, no, it's not scary at all.
Right. And I didn't know that when I was younger. And so I don't remember much of riding it back then. But revisiting it as an adult, it's a fun ride. Yeah. As Joel said, some of the stuff that, even though it's older technology, is just neat to still see the effects.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think it's a must ride every time we go down.
Yeah, I love the little trick where they put the hitchhiking ghosts in the doom buggies with you. That's fun too.
Yeah, so just an all around good ride, and it's a must do every time we go. So that's my number 3.
I really thought that was gonna be number 1. All right, my number 2. Number 2. Oh, I don't know if you would have put this on my list. It's not a traditional ride.
Not a traditional ride. Yeah. Is it the what do you call it? The safari?
Yeah, Kilimanjaro Safari.
I knew that'd be on your list.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
I have no doubt.
Like, where else can you go and see all those animals in 20 minutes? Like, really? And sometimes if you get a really good ride,
the internet.
That doesn't count. In person. Where can you see in person? You get animals that like end up so close to you. Or you see things that you would never see, like the giraffes we saw necking. Like, that was so fun. And the safari guides are pretty knowledgeable about all the different animals, so you kind of hear different fun facts when you get different drivers. And they kind of create a different experience for you each time. I just think that's so much fun. So much fun. It's like a zoo on steroids. Like, it's just like one of my favorites. And that's why it's my number 2. And it's also a must do every time. Maybe more than once in a day. Like, when you're in Animal Kingdom, you gotta go in the morning and the afternoon if you can swing it.
Yep, Joel, I know you really like that one.
I do.
So I knew it was gonna be on your list. I didn't know where, but I think I know what your number 1 is, so that's all right. My number 2, and it's one that's already been mentioned on Joel's list.
Oh, okay.
My number 2 was Flight of Passage. As Joel said, we've only been on that once, but it's just an amazing ride. Like, the fact that they can do what they do with the technology they have is just incredible. As always, when you're dealing with a 3D type ride, which is what this is, if you wear glasses, it's a pain in the butt. But the ride is still really enjoyable. The I don't know what you call those, the G-force that you hit when, even in a simulator, which was really neat, the spraying of water, and we're not Avatar fans.
No, not in any way, shape, or form.
Never had any desire to watch the movie, never had any desire to really do anything with it.
Right.
And even when we went down there the first time, we did always find it an odd choice that Pandora was a Disney area. But that being said, the ride is amazing. The Imagineers did a great job with that one. So it definitely deserved a spot on my top 5, and I put it at number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow, you did it higher than me.
Yep.
And then I think I know what your number 1 is.
Do you?
I think so.
Because I don't.
You don't know? All right.
Your number 1 is Soarin'.
It is Soarin' Around the World. I've never done the Soarin' Over California one, but that was like the first Disney ride we went on that like blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And this was before Rise of the Resistance. We didn't get on Flight of Passage the first time we went because the power was out in that area, and so the day we were supposed to go on it, it wasn't running.
Yeah.
So we weren't able to do like those really neat technological rides, and Soarin' was the first one, so it's kind of like my first Disney ride love.
Yep.
And once again, it's so fun. Oh, it's really windy outside.
Was that what that was?
I think that's what that was.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Side note, windy if you hear things rattling. But Soarin' was, the first time you had like the smells associated with the different places you were going through. I think the ride technology is really cool, how you like it lifts you and takes you up into like the bubble, which is the screen, which is
my
really,
favorite
really
is
neat.
the bendy Eiffel Tower.
Well, yeah.
My favorite.
The quality of your ride definitely depends on where you're seated. Like, it's best to be in the middle.
Yeah.
Then you don't have like bendy things like Stuart said. But still, it's still good. And the last time we went, the line was only like 20 minutes and we rode it twice in a row.
We did.
It was fun.
Yeah. So you think you know what my number 1 is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Rise of the Resistance.
My number 1 is Rise of the Resistance. It's just worth the hype. We didn't get a chance to get on it in January because of all kinds of things that just went wrong. But we were able to get on it this past time that we went back in October. And you know, I think it's everything people said it was and more. Like, you don't really get to appreciate just how in-depth this ride is. And I think it's definitely one of my favorite rides, and just to kind of give a glimpse of how immersive and how well they did this is one of the kids that was on the ride with us.
That was our favorite story.
Actually thought we left Earth. And the cast member had to kind of step in and let her
tell her
know
it was
it's
all
all pretend. It's all, you know, we're just playing, that you didn't leave Earth. And but it's just, you know, from the time you enter the transport thing and then you see all the stormtroopers and then get onto the ride, it's just a great experience.
And it's actually ride. When you go through the 3 different parts that there are, it's a long ride too.
Yeah.
Like it's like
20 minutes, I think.
In the world of Star Wars for quite some time.
Right. So for me, and once again, it goes back to there's a story behind it. It's really immersive, and it's.
See, I think great. I enjoyed it a lot, but I was watching it through a screen because I was the one recording it. So I think that the next time we go, I would not record it, and I think it would be a little bit more immersive and amazing. Yeah. And not that it wasn't amazing, and it was on my possibilities, but like I wouldn't call it. It was the most amazing ride, like the most technologically and immersive ride that you can go on, I think, in Disney World. Yeah. But is it
because
one of my
also
favorites?
Breaks down the most.
Yeah. And the one I would go to again and again, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would want to ride it every time we would go, but
yeah, I don't. I understand why they do it, but I don't like the boarding system. I wish it was just a line, but I get why they're doing that. You know, so hopefully one day they'll turn it into like a regular queue versus
we'll see.
Boarding passes.
Who knows how they'll go forward.
Yeah.
Should we do some honorable mentions?
Yeah, we could definitely do honorable mentions. So you mentioned that Rise of Resistance was an honorable mention for you.
Yes.
What else did you have? Let me say I'm shocked that, and you were about to say it, Toy Story Mania was not on your top 5, and neither was Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
Well, I thought of both of those because I really enjoy those. Are fun. Those are like you're in a video game. Right. But I think Toy Story Mania is better than Buzz Lightyear.
Really?
Or maybe easier, because you can see where your thing is going. Right. Whereas in Buzz Lightyear, you really have no idea what you're aiming at, because it's just a little red light, but everybody else has little red lights too, and so you kind of have to be really pay really close attention to where you're aiming. Whereas the Toy Story Mania one, it's a lot easier to see where you're aiming. Okay. Because you have like all the rings you toss, and it changes, which is I think more fun. Yeah. But Toy Story Mania was one of my honorable mentions, as was Rise of the Resistance. So those might be my 2 honorable mentions.
I had like 5 honorable
okay.
mentions.
Well, I think we need to do a Disney show top 5 because a lot of those were on my possibilities, but they're
Disney
not rides
shows,
really.
Yeah, they're not rides. So I had both Buzz Lightyear and Toy Story Mania as honorable mentions. I prefer Buzz Lightyear over Toy Story Mania.
You don't like to have to pull the little string?
I'm not what you call a person that exerts a lot of effort.
Physical
effort. I'm more of a mental effort kind of guy.
Okay.
But yeah, the Toy Story Mania, just pulling on that string for 5 minutes or whatever it is a bit much. So both of those were on there, but they would probably end up tying with that. Soarin' was also on my honorable mention, and Journey into Imagination, just because, as Joel said, with Journey into Imagination, it's a fun ride. It's not long. It's not anything really exciting or amazing.
But it's just cute and fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. We enjoy doing that every time that we go. And Soarin', as for all the reasons Joel said, it's just neat technology, experiences, and just a fun ride.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, going to do it for us.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what your favorite ride is at Disney World. And maybe even if you've never been to Disney World but been to Disneyland, let us know what your favorite ride is there. It's on our bucket list one day.
One day.
Yeah.
If California ever opens. So, yeah, let us know below what you think about our lists. What are your top 5?
Yeah.
And I guess until next time, where we're going to be looking at Disney sidekicks.
Yes. This was a tough one too.
Let us know what else you'd like us to rank. We've got, I think, a couple more ideas after that, but then we might shift over to Pixar or something else and see what we can do with that. So,
yep.
So once again, thanks so much for watching, guys. And until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.
Bye.